Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I got this little die in the post today. Again, I bought it from AliExpress. You'll hear me mention AliExpress a lot on my videos because I do love the shop. I mean, it's so cheap. I know you have to wait a little while for postage, but for the stuff you get and the prices, and most of it is really good quality. And this little die is like a unicorn, sort of all little unicorn elements to make up a little unicorn face. So I bought this thinking I could probably make a bow and then stick the horn on, but it's actually come smaller than I thought. So what I'm thinking is, the more I've looked at it, I thought I could perhaps make like a little bow centre. So this is what I'm going to try and do today. So just to show you the size, the little unicorn horn is 4 centimetres tall and only 1 centimetre wide at the bottom. It is really quite small. So I've removed the die out of the bag, and what I'm going to do is, you can keep the die as a whole and run it through the machine as a whole, but obviously you want all these little elements to be different colours, different fabrics maybe. So what I do is, you just take each little piece out by just giving it a little twist like that, and then these bits you don't want, so just give them a little twist and then they'll be put in the bin. Any little bits like this that you can't get a good grip of, you could use some tweezers, or in my case I'm going to be using scissors, and I'm just going to grip the scissors onto there, give them a little twist, and then off they come. So once I've got all my little pieces broken apart and separated, I've just got a little bag here. You'd be better off to have one of those ones you can sort of push and seal. I haven't got any of those at the moment, so I'm just using this one for now. And just to keep all my little bits together, so I know that they belong together, I'm just going to pop them all into a bag. So I've got my Cuttlebug die cut machine out. Basically it's not stuck down at the moment, but I'm using this tray for a hard surface, and when you open it, that forms a suction, so you can't move it. So it's got a good grip on there. I'm going to be using my A plate and a B plate. As you can see, it's well used. And then I've got this thicker one for die cuts to use on the top to sandwich my dies. So for the little top piece of the unicorn, I've chosen this lovely glitter fabric for the horse's mane, or the unicorn's mane. So I'm going to place that in my machine, line it up where I want it, and then I'm just going to run that through my die cut machine. I'll just run it through a few times just to make sure that's cut right the way through. And as you can see, they're still not quite cut all the way through, most of the way through, so I'll just use my scissors just to get the rest of that fabric away. So that's that piece cut out. So I'm just going to put that aside. For the ears, I've picked this lovely pink glitter. The die has got this raised edge, that's the side you want facing down onto your fabric to cut. And I'm also going to place this little white felt to line the ears with, the inner ears. So I'll cut that out as well. I'll try and do a few bits at a time to save time. For the eyes, I've chosen a fine black glitter. I don't know which eyes to use, so I'm going to just do one of each, and then we can choose what ones we prefer once they're cut. And for the unicorn horn, I've chosen this gorgeous iridescent gold fabric. So again, place that face down onto the fabric. And then I've got this green to cut out a few little leaves. So obviously there's only one die, so I'm going to have to place that on there, and I am going to have to run that through a few times to cut however many leaves out we need. So we carefully place that on the top, run them through. So the unicorn horn, that that's actually embossed that. That's gorgeous. Now, as you can see, because those eyes are such fine little detailing, that hasn't managed to cut through very well on that glitter fabric. That worked fine with the ears and stuff like that with the fine fabric, but not the eyes because they're such little details. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some eyes from felt instead. I need to run this through again anyway to make some more leaves. So again, I'm going to use both eyes so I can see which ones I prefer. And I'm using just this basic, just a funky felt sheet, because that should cut through there easily. So we've got all our little elements cut out and laid out here. I've just laid them in order. I don't know which eyes to use yet. They look like eyebrows, don't they, how I've laid them out. But yeah, we've got either these eyes or these eyes. I'm not sure which ones I want to use yet, so I've just left them there for now. We're going to just have a little play and see. I've got a piece of paper because I'm going to make the unicorn's head shape template to keep. So I've got a piece of card as well. This is what I use for all my templates when I make my own. I've got this fabric out here, which probably looks odd at the minute, but I've got it face down, so I just want to show you that this is a colour change in fabric. So I'm over at my window now. This is obviously the bottom of the fabric. Now get ready to watch it change colour when I flip it over. Oh, I started already, look. As soon as that hit direct sunlight, that goes a gorgeous pink colour. Do you see how quickly that changed? It's still going darker now, look. It's a gorgeous day outside today, so it's changed really quickly. But yeah, that is basically what I'm going to use for the unicorn's face. So I've just cut a square from a piece of paper to start making our template for our unicorn's head. So I'm just going to use the wider eyes as a guide. I'm going to roughly draw. I do it on paper first, obviously, so I don't waste my card. So we have the eyes roughly there, like that. So the horse's nose, you want to come down the middle to about here. A bit longer than that maybe, I don't know. We can always shorten it, so I'll do it extra long and then we can always shorten it. And I'm just going to roughly draw a guide of how I want that head. And then we can cut that out by folding that in half. This is the rough shape we've got. So we'll have that, and then the eyes, and then the ears, and then the unicorn's horn. I could even do it smaller than that. Yeah, I might make that a little bit shorter, just so we haven't got all this plainness at the bottom. So I'll just fold that in half again. Transfer this onto the cardboard. So fitting it onto my cardboard, I'll draw around the paper. So I've cut it out on my card, it's nice and sturdy, and I can now keep this to reuse, and I'll pop it in this little bag with all the templates and pop in my drawer with all my other templates or dies, so I'll always have that handy. So taking my piece of colour change fabric, I'm going to draw around my new template. So I've got some flowers out here, little paper flowers, some little silk flowers, my little pot of polymer clay pieces, some little bows. I've taken some stars out of this pot, and I'm just going to have a little play once it's all together and just embellish it. The more I look at it, I'm thinking that might be too big for a centre of a bow. For example, I've got this hair bow here, and if I pop that face in the middle there, I mean, it depends what sort of thing you like. If you could make a really big bow, that would probably be okay, but I'm thinking that would actually look nice on a clip in its own right, rather than actually in the centre of a bow. So we may change it to just a plain unicorn hair clip, but we'll see. So I'm now going to assemble all my unicorn pieces together. So I've got my hot glue gun warmed up. Now I want to pop my ears and my horn on first. I'm going to start with the horn first and foremost, because that's got to go right at the top in the middle. So now we can decide which eyelashes we want to use. So we've got these ones with the eyelashes pointing downward, or we've got these ones where the eyelashes go upwards. I think I actually like these ones. I think they're nice and unusual, them ones. And pretty. So yeah, I'm going to go for them ones. I'm going to just set these ones aside. I might put them in the bag with my dies, so I've got them for next time. Now for the eyes, because they're quite fine, I don't really trust using hot glue, because I think it's going to end up clogging these fine delicate eyelashes up. So I'm using some Gorilla super glue gel, and I'm just going to pop some on a piece of paper, piece of scrap paper here, and then I'm going to gently dip them into the super glue and then pop them on that way. was going to use roses because I do like roses. If I just show you one of my roses, they're quite big. That probably would work, but with these little tiny delicate leaves, I think these smaller flowers are going to work. So I'm just gonna cut a few little bits off. These are pink, I've got baby blue, white, and these lovely yellow ones. So I'm just gonna cut off some in each colour. So as you can see, they've got these little pink strands what stick out. So I'm just going to unravel and I'm going to use these little pink bits as well. Just pull out of there, and then you've got them little bits you can add on as well. Now I'm just going to have a little play with the layabout. Once I'm happy with how they're all laid out, I'm going to start gluing them all together. So this is what we have now. I decided to add these little hearts on the cheeks instead of the stars because I thought the stars were a bit too bright and these baby pinks just went better with the little white centres. That's really cute. I added a little bow embellishment as well, as you can see. So to back my little unicorn, I've decided to go for a little tulle bow. I just feel that needs a little something behind it. I mean, I could just stick that straight onto a clip, like that because it is very pretty, but I just feel it needs something in the background, so I decided to go for a rainbow tulle bow to go behind it. So I've really roughly cut out 8 pieces of tulle. I've lined them out. This is going to be one side of the bow, this will be the other, so I've got 2 blues on either end. That's just how it worked out. I wanted to use yellow, but I didn't have any yellow holographic dot tulle, unfortunately. So I've cut these pieces roughly 5 centimetres by 10 centimetres. I haven't done it too neatly, that won't show once it's made. That basically comes from these rolls. I've got these rolls of holographic dot tulle. They're 6 inches wide and they come in a 100-yard roll. And these are where I've got all these strips from. There's our other piece of blue. So this is going to be one side of the bow and this is the other. So taking a needle and some double strand thread, I've put a knot in the end. Taking one of your pieces, I'm just going to fold that in half, and then along this folded edge just start sewing in a pinch. So go in and out all the way along to the edge. It don't matter how many you do, just in and out all the way to the end. Take that up to the knot, then in the hot pink, again folding it in half, sew along the folded edge, and then the baby pink, and then the blue, and then just pulling all those colours together. And then I'm just going to go in and out that pinch a couple of times just to hold that in place. I'll keep the thread attached and use it for the other half of my bow. Just go in there and form a knot. And then continuing with that same piece of thread, I'm going to repeat that with the other 4 pieces. And I'm just going to pull that tight to bring those 2 sides together. And again, I'm just going to go in and out that pinch a couple of times to hold that in place. And then lining those up. We can bring those right together. Through that loop to form a knot. And there you have like this kind of almost like a tulle rosette to sit our unicorn in the middle of. So that will sit on there like that, and as you can see that just finishes that off beautifully. That almost looks like the mane at the back of the unicorn. So I'm just gonna make that more bow-like by separating them. And then I'm going to place some glue. I'm going to place some glue in the middle and around those edges a bit. And carefully line that up. And then what you could then do is trim off these sides to even it out. That actually looks quite even to me, but I will just take my scissors and just give that a tiny little trim in places where I think that needs it. But to be fair, considering I cut that roughly, because I know that I can always trim it at the end, I don't really need to do that much to it. Now we can add our clip to the bottom. So I'm just going to add some hot glue on there. Pop that across the centre behind the unicorn's head. And as we're not wrapping anything around the centre, I'm going to take a piece of felt. So a freehand cut a little circle of felt. I'm just going to run my light around there because it's very fluffy, this felt. So it's just a cheap felt, but that does its job. Just get rid of some of those fluffy bits. And I'm just going to make sure that that fit under my clip before I glue it. Yeah, that will be fine. So I'm going to place some hot glue on the underside. And I'm going to open that clip right up and tuck that right in under that clip and push it down onto that tulle bow, and that will just keep that clip on there extra securely. So this is what the back of the hair bow looks like, and I've just brought my tray over to the window for daylight so we can see that colour change. Now we've got it all made up together. The sun's actually gone in now, so that won't change as quickly as it did before. It's now slowly starting to go a baby pink, as you can see. And that is your finished unicorn hair bow, using all the little tiny pieces from that die that we got. I'll pop a link to the die in the description below this video, so if you want to check that out. If you've got any questions, pop them into the comments below and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.